morning, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And if you've been under a rock for the last, 5 days, 6 days, the face on the screen here, this lovely face that you're seeing here, is quite foreign to you. But this is a guy named Alex Pretti. He is famous because he fucked around and found out the hard way. He was one of these guys who thought that he was smart enough and tough enough to lead or start some sort of revolution to change the fabric of this country, which is the fabric is already ripped for the most part. And these guys are laughable because they think that they have the know-how and the balls and the manliness, what you need in order to change society. There have only been a few men in history, a handful of men in history, who changed society for good. And what I mean for good is not like for 5 or 10 years. Julius Caesar, of course, was one of the first ones. Octavian or Augustus. Hadrian Christianized the entire Western world. Napoleon Bonaparte, of course. Christopher Columbus, no matter what revisionist historians say. This guy isn't one of them. This guy is not one of them. And these guys all think that just because they go out and buy a gun and they curse and scream into their camera phones and they say they're going to do this and they say they're going to do that, the minute the shit hits the fan, these guys end up in the street dead. And this is what happened to this guy, Pretti. Now, are we condoning the fact that he's dead? No. These Border Patrol agents, and they were not ICE agents. I mean, I don't think it matters to anybody, but they were not ICE agents. They were Border Patrol agents. They probably fucked this up. And there's reasons for it that all these ballistic experts guys are going to say that this gun that he used was very sensitive, and when they confiscated it from him, it went off, and that's what led to this chain of events of this shooting. You know what? These guys are supposed to be highly trained guys. They should probably know a little better. But again, I'm not in the line of fire there. So what am I supposed to say? These guys should all be at work doing something. This guy was a nurse. Why wasn't he in the hospital, helping people get better? If you don't know or have no clue who Alex Pretti is or why he is the face of this new movement, here is the reason why he's famous or infamous, whatever you'd like to call it.
Honestly.
Bear with me for one moment. Let me see here. Okay. Sorry about that. Now, if you hear at this point, you hear somebody screaming, gun, gun, gun. So he had a gun on him. He did have a gun on him. These guys freaked out. They got scared because they're just regular guys. And they blew him away. And you know what? Listen, whoever the guy that gets to go home and have dinner with his family after a full day shift, he's the winner. Because these guys aren't going to take a chance, and I don't blame them. These protests are nothing more than a scam and a sham, and these protests are only happening because these frauds in Minneapolis and Minnesota, in the state of Minnesota, and they're I'm calling them frauds for a reason, are covering up the billions of dollars that they've stolen from the American from the American taxpayer. This is the only reason why this is happening. Texas, I think they have about 80,000 uh, arrests, immigration arrests so far. No protests anywhere in Texas. I think Oklahoma has like 50,000. New York had like 20,000. I mean, this is going on all over the country, but only in Minnesota are we seeing these protests and these shootings. It's madness, and it's got to stop. And you can't do it with these fucking agents. You have to go in hard. If you're going to do something, go all the way. Don't bring ICE agents in there who have to cover their faces up because they're being doxxed and their kids are going to be harassed in school, or maybe even worse, kidnapped. Their wives going to, the supermarket getting assaulted. These guys are covering their faces not because it's cold, because their pictures are being taken and they're being doxxed on the internet. You have to go in there with a strong military presence. All these Western countries have to do this now. This is just, it's just Trump standing on the top of an iceberg, chipping away with it with a butter knife. This is doing nothing. And they're getting publicity for all the wrong reasons. Now, a new video has come out showing this guy on January 13th, about 11 days before this event took place, being an absolute out of control asshole. This surfaced recently, and that's Alex Pretti, right? The Pretti right there, and that's an ICE agent vehicle there. And let's see what old Alex did. Nurse Alex.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Pretti interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy. On the morning of January 13th, our team received a tip that federal agents were blocking a street at the corner of East 36 and Park Avenue in Minneapolis. We arrived around 10:15 a.m. We saw observers shouting at the agents as they walked back to their vehicles. When they started driving away, the man kicked their taillight. An agent then got out of the vehicle, grabbed him, and pushed him to the ground. During the altercation, agents fired tear gas and pepper balls into the crowd. They continued to hold the man down before they retreat, and he walks away. The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what Pretti was wearing on the day he was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
Now that's very, 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 very important. Is that you can see the gun in his waistband right there. Now, is this the same gun that was used, that he had on him during the day of the shooting? I don't know. But a lot of people are saying that this gun that was used is a highly sensitive, highly lethal gun here. And of course, all these ballistic guys are going to use this as an excuse, because they're going to say, well, the officers, the gun is very sensitive, and it went off, and this and that. They're going to find any excuse, and all of these guys. Joe Rogan is guilty of it too. They have all come out and said that the gun went off by accident and may have caused a chain reaction that killed this guy at the age of 37. You don't know who to believe anymore. You just don't know who to believe anymore. Should the guy have been carrying the gun? I don't know. I mean, he was licensed to carry, which in a state of Minnesota, you would think it's so liberal that you wouldn't be able to carry you wouldn't be able to own a gun. But apparently this guy had one, and he had it on him, and when these officers saw it, or these agents saw it, they flipped out. Now it's called a SIG P like Peter 320. I'm not a gun guy. I have no interest in guns, but apparently this isn't your Saturday night special here. This is a very sophisticated weapon that he had, and it got him killed. You can argue. Is it possible that these officers, when disarming him, accidentally discharged this weapon that caused his shooting? Of course. Of course. There were like 4 or 5 guys on top of him, and who knows if he was trying to reach for it. Like I said, these guys aren't going to take a chance. They're not going to take a chance in dying for this shit. It's just not going to happen. And what does this all lead to? Well, on TV, all over the world now, we're seeing this stuff. And we're seeing back and forth of who's right and who's wrong and blah, 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 blah. But the fact of the matter is, the bigger issue is, the bigger cause is that the deportation cause is over. I mean, I think the American public they're over it for the most part, because nothing is really happening. I mean, we still have millions of illegals in this country, and they're being deported at a snail's pace. And you have all these bullshit court and these judges and these, blocking this and blocking that. I don't know how a state or circuit court judge has the authority to block federal agents from deporting these people, but I guess they do. That's how bureaucratic the American system is. And it's very easy for me to say, hey, just fuck these judges, just get them out of here. But I guess Trump can't do this, or he won't do this. But this stuff is going to continue, and this stuff is only happening. I'm telling you why. I'm telling you it's only happening because of the fraud case that is rampant in Minnesota with these Somalis, with these daycares, with all this shit. And it's spreading. It's all over the place. It's in New York. It's in New Jersey. It's in Chicago. It's in Detroit. Anywhere and everywhere. Anywhere where there's a majority Democrat, there's fraud. And this guy Alex Pretti and that lesbian who got shot in her truck, they're just useful idiots. That's all they are. They're just morons who don't understand that they're being used. And for what? For nothing. No one's going to give a shit about them. Nobody gives a shit about them now. Their deaths are just being exploited by the media and by the Democrats and by these left-wing lunatics. That's it. No one gives a goddamn about them at all. And if you're somebody, and God forbid you are, who believes in this cause, who's willing to go out into the streets and face these bullets, there's more to life than this. You don't have to die for these people. I say the same thing to anybody who thinking about joining the military. You're basically going to go to war all the time for a foreign country that doesn't give a shit about you, that hates you, that spits on your cross, that wants to see you dead, wants to see your family dead. It's all a big lie. It's all a big joke. And for some reason, we all fall for it. And we fall for it over and over and over again. I, for one, I'm sick of it. So this guy Pretti, no big deal, because there'll probably be somebody else next week or the week after. And we'll move on to other things. But this issue in Minnesota right now is just becoming so bleak. And the deportation, the remigration of this country is just, it's just so silly now. I mean, I'm just so sick of it. Trump has been such a feeble disaster that it's disappointing. Very, very disappointing. What say you? Leave something in the comments. And that's my 2 cents. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And remember, my friends, Satan is always busy. You saw him on TV. Be a man and have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And just remember, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. We'll see you later.